welcome to Cegin Y Werin. We're outside today because it's dry and sunny, and I've got Jam with me, Jacqueline Ann Morgan. You might remember her from the Facebook Lives from weeks ago. Today we are making some kimchi and sauerkraut, so we're going to do some fermenting for our vegetables that we want to keep for over winter. Me and Jam have been working together for quite a few years now, and we always have a lot of fun together. We've been working together on the Hiraeth events in the Nurture Centre. We used to work in the Warren together.
Yes.
And Jam comes to the Glassburn to volunteer quite regularly. So yeah, today we're making a kimchi. What's in a kimchi, Jam?
Kimchi, you have, well, kimchi and sauerkraut, very similar. Both have cabbage, always get cabbage. We're using giant savoys, but you can use any type, napa, hispy, any hard cabbage. In the kimchi, this one, what we've got is carrot, fennel, cabbage, chilli, garlic. And then in the sauerkraut, we have cabbage, fennel, and apple, and then fennel seed and caraway seed.
So what's really exciting about the fennel seed is that it's the fennel that we grew on the garden here, and I think we put it in the veg boxes recently too. So we've just dried these, and now they're good for use.
They smell so good.
I know, right? I'm gonna be putting that in my tea over winter. So I've also got some Cegin beetroot here.
Delicious.
Which looks like that. Many of you, if you're veg box customers, have received that over the season, and this is a good way of any beetroots that you've got in your veg box at home, you can just ferment them for over winter.
That's a good point. So kimchi is Korean, and traditionally they would put cabbage and hard root vegetables, and for them that would be a radish.
Oh yeah.
Either a radish or carrot. Mooli, normally, the Chinese long radish.
Oh, I know, yeah.
So this is why we're putting beetroot in. Also, you wanted to put in a wild herb.
Yes.
For what reason?
What reason? Because there's good bacteria on the wild herbs, like lactobacillus, and I want to inoculate the ferments with that lactobacillus. It's the same lactobacillus that I grow here on the farm, and I make a serum out of it, and we put that on the compost heaps and the compost toilet, and where else? We just put it on the veg bags too, because it inoculates the ground with the bacteria that we want to make a more biodiversity in the bacteria and the growing veg bags.
That's why I've chopped up here the fennel frills coming from the fennel bulb and dandelion.
Yeah, so this is we just picked this dandelion from the wild, and Jam has chopped that up now. We're going to add that onto both of them. Which one do you want to add that to?
I think both.
Great.
What I love about both ferments, especially kimchi, is it's so good for your immune system and your stomach and gut health. Yeah. I think this is going to add to that.
Yeah, I've been needing some kimchi in the kitchen actually, because that's why we're doing it today, because we needed the kimchi in our own kitchen, so we're making it. And it's a great way of, if you've got vegetables at this time of year, to ferment it so you've got them for another 6 months or so.
So I'll put half of this in each.
Okay, great.
And then what we've done to this already, so all I've done is I've shredded up the cabbages and roughly chopped carrot and roughly chopped apple. And the first thing that you need to do when it comes to either sauerkraut or kimchi is you need to work out your weight. So the weight of the chopped vegetable. Both of these come to about 1,800 grams. And for every 100 gram of vegetable, you need 2 grams of salt to ferment. And all we've done is we've put the salt on top and then mulched it with your hands. So if you watch me do this, it shows you exactly what we've done. You just want to get the salt right into the vegetable.
Which one do you want to put the beetroot in?
Definitely the kimchi.
Great, so look at the colour of that beetroot. It's lovely, that Cegin beetroot.
It's beautiful.
Nice.
I mean, we could put it in both.
No, I'm thinking, the kimchi would be great.
Yeah.
So because that's going to be, there's going to be a kick of chilli with there. What was the herbs in there again?
So there's your chilies from the polytunnel.
Yeah.
Garlic.
Yeah.
Fennel frill and dandelion, and then you've got caraway seed and fennel seed in the sauerkraut.
Okay, great. All right, so basically it's quite simple to make these kind of things. You just have to remember a few basic tips, and that is you need to use jars that have been sterilised so they're clean, so that you don't have bacteria that you don't want in there that will grow.
Also, sterilised working space as well.
Yeah.
So these were sterilised before we started making them in here as well.
So at this point, we've got this mixture that Jam is mixing together.
Yeah.
Can I grab some of that now and start putting it in the jar?
Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. If I just swap that around.
Yeah.
You can carry on mixing if you want.
Yeah. So what we wanted to do as well was show you two different ways of doing it. Stefan was telling me that how he does it is that he'll salt the vegetables, mulch it up, make sure that you get it all in, and then he'll press it into the jars. So see what he's doing now. You need to compact it down, and what that does is that when you're compacting the vegetable, the brine that it makes from the vegetable juice, the moisture that comes out of the veg with the salt, that will cover the vegetable, and that's what will preserve it. But a quicker way of doing it, what I've done with the kimchi, is I poured probably about, I would say, 300 millilitres of boiling hot water on, and that will make the process a lot faster. So whereas with this one, I would say you'd leave it for about 4 days, 4 or 5 days.
Oh, right, okay.
And then with the kimchi, with the boiling hot water, 24 hours. So you can have it straight away. So you can eat this tomorrow.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Well, we've got volunteers tomorrow, so I can feed it to them for lunch.
Definitely.
So a bit more about Glasbren again. We are a community veg farm, and we do veg boxes. We're going to be doing workshops and courses next year too. And yeah, Cegin Y Werin means peasant's kitchen, and it's our way of just showing things that we know and just telling you about them if you want to learn them too. And just giving people a bit more information about the veg that comes in their boxes, so they know what to do with it, because it's a bit scary sometimes to receive veg that you don't know what to do with, and you've never worked with it before. So, is this right what I'm doing here, Jen?
Yeah, that's perfect. And also, can you see how, if you come closer, the moisture, and it's already covering. So this is why it's faster with boiling hot water, is because this moisture would normally take hours to come.
I see. Great.
Also, in storing ways, always store any type of fermented vegetable in a cool, dark place. Once it's opened, it'll take 5 days to consume unless you put it into the refrigerator, and then fermented vegetables in the refrigerator, as long as they're covered and in jars, 3 to 6 months. That's the best thing about them.
Great, so as a reminder, this is the kimchi that I'm putting in here. This has got the chili, this has got the cabbage, it's got the wild food of the dandelion to inoculate it with lactobacillus. We've got 2% salt, is that correct?
Yeah.
2% salt. And we've got the beetroot. So this is a great example that if you use a base of cabbage, and you can add a lot of other vegetables that you've got lying around that you need to
Yeah, definitely.
ferment.
And flavours, because you can have all different types of sauerkraut. You see people doing beetroot sauerkraut, which is really good.
So would you use cabbage at all with that?
No, you don't have to.
So you can just ferment any vegetable?
Yeah.
As long
Because sauerkraut, I think, refers to the technique, so it's just the method. It's
Well,
the method of fermentation.
Well, I know it's the kraut is the cabbage in German,
Well, of course.
but I think you're right. You can just ferment any vegetable as
Yeah.
long as you stick to those rules of sterilising your jars,
Yeah.
using 2% salt, making sure that the water is above the vegetables.
Yeah. What you'll see on the bench is there's some large brassica leaves, and what we're going to use with these is to seal the top of the vegetable so that no oxygen can hit them, and then no mould can grow.
Great. So
Where shall I get the other jar?
yeah, sure. So some other exciting things that have been in discussions today. We had a good meeting about CD Saturday, which is happening in the Nurture Centre in Carmarthen on the 19th of March. And Glasbren is running it, and we're going to be doing all sorts of CD workshops and films and exciting things. Jam, we're going to do a hiraeth, yeah?
Yes.
So hadai is seeds in Welsh, and we're going to do a hadai hiraeth event in the evening. And Louisa, one of the directors at Nurture, Glasbren, she is going to be doing a lunch for everyone at the CD Saturday. So put it in your diaries, the 19th of March in Carmarthen in the Nurture Centre. Come join us for a CD Saturday. You can see all the juice here. There's loads, and I'm really pressing down hard on that now.
It looks wonderful.
You look wonderful.
What type of things would you eat kimchi or sauerkraut with?
Everything
Yes.
except for porridge. I won't have it with my porridge.
I mean, if it was savoury porridge.
What would What would I eat it with? So I would definitely have it like a ploughman's with cheese,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
and bread and then what else would I put it with? Salad. It's delicious salad. Oh, and also like cheese on toast. Delicious.
so what I really find interesting is the Koreans always have it on the table before they eat.
Oh yeah.
It's normal in Korean cuisine to have it as like a digestive before you start eating.
That's sensible.
I know. Also, just have it with every meal.
Yeah.
And sauerkraut makes me think of Oktoberfest
Yes,
and
of
German
course.
cuisine.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this juice so I can cover this now. That is the juice that's come off the vegetables and the brine. And I'm going to press it down so there's enough juice to cover the vegetables there.
Yeah.
Is that right for you?
Yeah.
And then I'll let you show this part because I know you've got better technique than I do. Or shall I? I'll do
No,
it.
you do it.
Okay, so you're using this big leaf, and the idea of this big leaf is to seal the kimchi in its jar.
Yep.
And we want to just press it down around the edge, and you want to avoid as much as possible, nearly all matter of vegetable being in air.
Yep.
So it has to be covered with the water. So I'm going to use that leaf and then another one. So you can see I'm just putting that cabbage around just to make sure that there's not bits of vegetables that are floating up. And then I'm going to go and get my ramekin, so I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. I'm just doing the same thing with the sauerkraut, but as you can see, there's no liquid coming out of this because we haven't used boiling hot water. But what I would do, once this is sealed in the same technique, tomorrow I'll come back to it and there will already be this full of brine water coming out of the cabbage, and then you just do exactly the same thing. You just have to wait 24 hours. It's surprising how much cabbage can go into these jars. I think we probably have 2.5 kilograms of cabbage, and that's going to do 4 jars. Would you say 4 jars? Or
Yeah.
3 jars?
Or 3, it's always less than I expect.
Yeah.
You cut so much vegetable. So this is my technique of doing it. I've got the leaf, I've got enough juice in there. I'm going to put this ramekin down, and you can see it's pressing the leaf down and all the other stuff underneath the brine, and then that lid keeps all of that down.
Amazing.
So there you go. There's a kimchi. I don't know how long that took. 10 minutes? Oh, obviously we were cutting the vegetables beforehand, so a bit longer. But this is a great way.
And you can use anything. One of my favourite techniques is Hugh Fernie Whittingstall.
Yeah.
He'll get a sandwich bag.
Yeah.
You'll fill that with water and then put that on top so it weighs it down.
Ah, clever.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And then, yeah, did you say about stone? You can use stones.
Yeah, stones.
You wash a pebble and use a stone there.
Yeah.
But basically, that's it. And Jam's going to fill that up, do the same on this one.
Yeah.
And that's how you make a really quick ferment. See you on another episode of Cegin Y Werin. Thank you, Jam, for joining us today. And see you all soon.